Hi, and welcome to today's live chapter reading of The Seal's Temptation Wounded Hearts, Book 7 by Jacquie Biggar. Brought to you by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits, Chapter 1. The Seal's Temptation Wounded Hearts, Book 7. Frank Stein sat at the scarred wooden dinner table that had graced his family home since long before he was born. The combined aromas of roasted turkey, sage stuffing, garlic, mashed potatoes, and poultry gravy had his mouth watering and his stomach growling. No one cooked better than his mama. On his right, his best friend, Jared Martin, and wife Annie visited Frank's mother Emily and her new beau Spencer, while Adam and his boss bickered in the background. But it was the silent woman on his left that commanded his attention. Magdalena Holt. His fascination with the mysterious DEA agent had grown almost embarrassingly obvious to everyone, it seemed, except her. She was too focused on stopping international human trafficking ring to worry about his tender feelings. Emily's black lab Sugar lounged on the floor at Maggie's feet as though he sensed her underlying torment. Every now and then Frank caught her sneaking a piece of meat to the dog, but he pretended not to notice. She could give the animal the whole damn bird if it made her feel better. He Her recent abduction left him angry and helpless. The vibrant, commanding agent he'd met months ago when Jared called from Las Vegas asking for help was nowhere to be seen, and the timid, pale, imitation sitting at a table full of laughing, chattering friends. The dark place in his head wanted to reach out and shake her silly. How could she have allowed herself to be placed in danger that way? At the same time, his arms ached from the restraint he placed on himself not to grab a hold and never let go. He'd gladly protect her with his life, but that was the problem. She didn't need him. She never had. And to prove his point, hey, Bags, any word on the girl you saved from that crash? Her partner, Adam, turned his megawatt smile her way and grasped the fingers fiddling with her fork instead of eating. She murmured, the low hum sending vibrations through Frank's gut and lower. Molly? No, but the hospital promised to keep me informed. She gave a faint smile. Thanks for helping her parents with the re- repatriation order. I was worried she'd have to remain in Mexico over Easter until trial was set. He gave her a warm hug, his blonde hair a stark contrast to the inky darkness of Maggie's. Frank wanted to rip them apart. Not a good reaction for a SEAL chief, even if he was retired. He had no right to feel jealous. Maggie had never shown any sign of interest. It was all wishful thinking on his part, which was ridiculous. He was a 37-year-old war veteran acting like a kid wet behind the ears with his first crush. He turned to Jared, determined to give the agent some privacy. How big is that son of yours getting to be, Martin? Good thing he takes after his mom. Doesn't have to carry your ugly puss on his shoulders for the rest of his life. Frank, his mother chided. Jared just laughed. I agree, buddy. He tugged Annie close for a kiss, then left her cheeks glowing. I hit the jackpot with this one. Adam snorted. No more gambling for you, remember? Annie's smile was soft. Don't worry. He doesn't have to wager a thing on me. I'm a sure bet when it comes to my husband. Jared kissed her again. How did I get so damn lucky? Frank was happy for his friend. Jared had gone through a rough patch after Adam took a hit in the teams and died, or so they'd thought. Now he was a husband, a father with a fledgling security business, and Adam was a DEA agent with a distractingly sexy partner. Times they do a change. Maggie set her napkin on the table, pushed her chair back, disturbing Sugar's nap. Excuse me, she muttered, her gaze flitted around the room. I just need some air. Maggie's gaze oh, of course, honey, Emily said, her expression concerned. Frank will go with you. Maggie's gaze jumped to him and away again. Oh, no, that's okay. Enjoy your dinner. I'm fine. Translation, leave me alone. Frank gave Sugar the signal, and the dog glided behind Maggie as she opened the screen and stepped out the door. Adam started to rise at the same time. Frank did, but sank into his seat with a slight nod. Thanks, Chief. There was nothing to thank him for. He would have followed her without his mother's meddling. The porch was cool after the warmth of the house, reminding him that summer was still a promise on the horizon. He found her sitting on his mama's swing, still as a shadow. He leaned on the rail a few feet away, suddenly feeling like a bull in a china shop. Sorry about the racket in there. The boys and I haven't seen each other in a while. She leaned forward, the chains holding the chair to the rafters, creaking, and rubbed Sugar behind the ear. No, it was nice listening to you joking like that. I guess we are. Yes, ma'am, I guess we are. They're my brothers. No. She leaned. No, it was nice listening to you joking like that. I can tell you're close. His lips quirked. That was one way of putting it. Yes, ma'am, I guess we are. They're my brothers. The swing slowed its rocking motion. You mean the SEAL team, the one Adam belonged to? He nodded and stared at the explosion of stars in the evening sky and thought about another night when the explosions were nearly as peaceful. Most of us were together straight out of Bud's training. Except Nick and his MWD. Jake, remember them? Of course she does, you idiot. It's thanks to you that she ended up on the cartel shit list. Yes, she said so softly he had to lean in to hear her. Tidal Falls, right? She shivered and rattled the chains above her head. Damn, he needed to get that oiled. If it bothered him, she must be about ready to climb the walls. She didn't seem upset, though, just sad. He straightened and took the 2 strides necessary to reach the throw lying across the back of one of the rocking chairs set up to look out over the ranch compound. He shook it out to make sure no creepy crawlies had set up house and handed it across the distance. Here, take this unless you'd prefer. No, she said a little too forcefully. She backed it up with a nervous laugh as she wrapped the blanket around her shoulders. Sorry, your family has been great. Truly, it's just a bit much yet after, well, everything. She's at the swing, rocking again with short little jabs of her toe. Tell me about Bud's, was it? She reminded him of a wall clock he had taken apart one time as a kid, curious to see how it all worked. The outside was smooth. Would you be still? Seemingly unbreakable, but once he had undone the screws of the peck and fiddled around a bit, springs popped and the whole thing fell apart. Frank was determined not to let that happen to Magdalena Holt. Sure, whatever you want, he said, aware there were things he could never talk about of his time in the teams. Bud S stands for Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL School, but there's nothing basic good about it. It's 24 weeks of grueling physical and mental training. But then you DEA agents probably go through some pretty rigorous stuff yourselves. She smiled. She smiled, just a flash of white, really, but it was enough to suffuse his chest with warmth and make him wish for a better lighting out here so he could see her expression. Nice non-answer, Chief. Do you miss it? She asked, her head tipping to the side as though she really cared. to hear what he had to say. Wishful thinking. Sure, he acknowledged it was a big part of my life for a decade. More counting, training, but it was time to move on. Let the next crew take up the sword. I'd lost the drive, and that could get my men killed. It was time. They looked out over the valley with the brook bubbling away in the distance, cows lowing contentedly at and lights twinkling from the homes of the ranch. A rare sense of peace fell over him. He could easily see himself sitting in these old rocking chairs 20 years from now with Maggie at his side. Damn, he had it bad. Yes,